Preparing to stream.
Okay, do you want to put that into chat as well so I can do that?
Excellent. We're going live.
That's a very subtle music.
A few guests are coming in. Welcome, Rajvin, Zina, Lillian, Darren. Good to see you guys. Good to see you, Rajvin, all the way from Malaysia.
Da, 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 da.
Nice, Elvin, we are live. Hi, Zina. Hi.
I think we should have a singing competition, don't you think, Venkat? One of those EI sessions. You can never know.
We'll start in a minute. Okay, let's kick off. Right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining the last EI series. To celebrate the EI Awareness Month, Blowing Project brought to you a few series, workshops, discussions on how EI is an important aspect in our daily lives and how we can use these elements of emotional intelligence to enhance all aspects of our lives. We establish that EI plays a crucial role in how we show up as self and for others, and how we can contribute towards the humanity in the world. So we are closing the EI series for the EI month by bringing together invigorating conversation on self-awareness, which is the first domain of emotional intelligence. And today I have Albin from Lebanon, Raza Khan from UK, Orawan from Sydney, and Sandeepa from Nepal, but today she's in US, all right? And I also have Rajvin, who conducts laughter therapies almost on the weekly sessions from Malaysia. Thank you, Rajvin, for joining. I have Lillian, Zina, and Darren. Thank you guys for joining this, the last EI series. Now, before I kick off, I would like to thank one particular person, the brainchild of this EI series, who told me, advised me, Venkat, why don't you have this EI series for the EI month on a weekly sessions? So I have to thank Orawan for the brilliant idea. So a question for Orawan. What is your love towards emotional intelligence?
Thank you for that question, Venkat. And as much as I am a brainchild and I would love to take credit for this, I think it is because you have also inspired many of us with the love for EI. For me particularly, EI, it holds a very close, it's very close to my heart. And ever since I became a parent, I feel that there is more and more need for us to be able to compartmentalize. I want to use that word. I feel like EI helps us to compartmentalize our thought process, especially when we are going through something difficult. We are able to segregate, we are able to segment, and then we are able to make conscious decision on how to take the next steps. So for me, that's really where EI comes in, and it's very close to my heart for that matter.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
that
for that
sharing.
question.
And how long has it been since you started reading? Because I see you reading a lot of books and also recommending me a lot of EI books. So when did this love and passion for EI started?
For me, I think ever since I became a coach, I think I felt that it played a more dominant role in terms of, working with people in different walks of life, different backgrounds, really understanding how the brain works really helps us. So we know emotions is there, but really being able to have that brain science to support the intelligence behind the emotions at the end of the day. So for me, that is a very special thing, and it's been around 2.5 years now since I've become a coach, and I've gone through positive psychology masterclass on EI to enhance that knowledge and my love for EI books, as you highlighted it. It's beautiful.
And it's a great pleasure to have you, have Raza Khan, who's my mentor, Albin, Sandeep, all the experts on emotional intelligence. Thanks again, my dear speakers and guests. So without further ado, let's kick off. There will be a fantastic discussion and Q&A session later part, so please hang around. And meanwhile, you still can type away your questions in the chat box. We have a few segments, a simple activity, a thought-provoking activity, and a short video also. And great takeaways has been lined up for you, okay? So before I pass the mic to all of you all, I just want to share something, a topic that we spoke about last week to Sandeepa and Raza Khan on this word work-life balance, and how we are so much focusing on our 9-to-5 daily life, our jobs, and that we forgot that we are a human being and also being a human. That all we do is 9-to-5 work, rush to work, stress, getting results. So I just want to take a few minutes to talk about our lifespan, because if you realize on an average of lifespan, so let's say an age of 80, from 5 to 18 years old, we had the best time of our lives, which is cool. We never cared about money. We never cared about food. We never cared about shelter, because all this was being provided by our family. We can walk into our friend's house. My friend's mom will feed me. We will share 10 cents. We will share $1. We literally did not worry about anything. And then from 18 years old, we entered the working world. And little did we realize it's going to be until 65, 70 years old. And especially in Singapore, you're not supposed to retire. You can't afford to retire in Singapore. So which means 3/4 of your life is spent working, 9 to 5. And then you spend 2 hours coming back home. So what do you do in the evening? That is why I brought up this topic. I forgot who I am. Last week, Raza briefly mentioned about this person who's a policeman. So when he entered home, he behaves and acts like a policeman. Whereas he's supposed to play the role as a father, as a husband. So who am I? What am I? What's the distinction between these two? 3/4 of your life spent at work. When are you going to breathe? When are you going to live your life? When are you going to play the role as Rajvin, as Sandeepa, as Darren, as Orowan? We're always doing our duties. I'm not saying don't. But do keep in mind, 3/4 of your life is spent at work. 3/4 of your life is spent working. If you do not find a job that you enjoy waking up and going to, good luck to you. You've wasted 3/4 of your life. Okay. With this, I would like to quickly show a nice cartoon video. Sandeepa, Raza, and Albin, you may have watched it before in my symposiums. It's a very nice takeaway in this video, nice message. So sit back, enjoy this video. Good. I won't be able to find it when I need it. Okay. Volume is in full. Okay, share screen. He's
Very entertaining.
smiling. Razas, come share your thoughts about the video.
I think it's very entertaining, but that's the reality of our life. Unfortunately, problem is that when we were talking about either a policeman or a coach or a computer consultant, these are the expectations was put on us by the community, right? And that's how they defined us. But in reality, when we're born, I mean, I can guarantee you, every single one of you here, can you check your birth certificate and see it says that, oh, you're going to be a coach, or you're going to be a doctor, or you're going to be an engineer? No, this is something which has been forced upon us. Problem is that, including myself, I love technology, but that love of technology is finished because the dream is over. And then we are living day to day, and that's it. It's just a mundane task. We don't find something which is excite us anymore. So we're doing it. So we are behaving like what we behave outside. So when I come home, I try not to be a project manager or a program manager or director, because I'm not. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a brother, I'm a son. All right, and that's what we're supposed to define us. But we've been defined by, as I said to you, the community. The community is, oh, he is a project manager. That's how they define us, and that's how we behave and react. And that's the problem. And that cliche, you want to call it cliche or a designation given to you. But it's just if the designation, you're talking about the policeman. I said to the policeman when I was coaching, he says, if they take away your job and they don't pay you, are you still a policeman? He goes, no. He says, then stop behaving like a policeman at home, because you're not. We need to take this cloak off at the doorstep of home. Why do you think the divorce rate and child suicide and everything? Because I remember my grandfather, he was in the army in the British, in Second World War, but he was at home. He was still acting like he was in the army, like a corporal. Every single one of us has been treated like that. So it's just that, when you come to the emotional intelligence side of it, they didn't show any. And that's the problem.
What's interesting is you mentioned this, that we are defined by the community. And I guess that's what we're going to be diving deeper into today's workshop. And you also mentioned about the 4 roles that you play as a father, as a brother. And guys, if you think about it, from the time that you wake up, from the time you open your eyes, right, you play either the role as a husband or wife. Then comes the duty as a mother or a father, second role already. All right. And then when you go to work, when you're traveling, you play the role of a passenger. You cannot play the role as a mother in a bus, right? So you play the role as a passenger. At work, you play the role as an employee. You play the role as a colleague. When you go for lunch, you play the role as a customer. When your mom calls you on the phone, you play the role as a son. Your friend calls you on the phone, you play the role as a friend. I've already got 9 roles that you play in a day. In a day. And you know how tiring that is? You should be able to change your cap, the role that you play, like this. And it's a tiring affair. But in the 9 average roles that you play in a day, not even once I mentioned you playing the role as Albin. You playing the role as Lillian. It's all about duties and roles and responsibilities. Where was the duty and the roles and responsibilities for yourself? Where did you play in a day, you as Sandeepa? So some of my students will say, oh, at night when I come back home, I sit down and watch TV and I rest. Yeah, that's because you are exhausted. Your battery level is low. You're actually recharging. It's not a me time that you're having. Exactly, Aini. We always forget the me.
Yeah.
So when are you going to give yourself a me time? And that is why I played that video. Have a fine balance. Feed your brain, yes, and feed your soul. It's time to ask yourself, guys, what are you doing in a day to feed your soul? Because when you watch that video, the guy eventually had no soul. He was just typing, you know. We have to start reflecting. We have to ask ourselves, who am I? And why is the what coming in to the role as who am I? Like the policeman. Yesterday, I had a family gathering. I cannot go to the family function as a trainer. They'll ask me to get out. I want to see Venkat, not the coach or trainer Venkat. I want to see my cousin Venkat. So if you're a strict trainer, leave it outside. Come here, be friendly. So we are forgetting the who am I and what am I. Thanks, Francisco, for joining. So with this, could I get you all to do a quick activity? If you got a pen and paper, it will be good. If you want to use a handphone, go ahead. Okay. I want you to write 5 keywords to describe yourself. 5 positive and 5 negative keywords to describe yourself.
Only 5? Negative?
5 positive. For you, 1 is enough, Raza. So 5 positive and 5 negative keywords to describe yourself.
I can give you 100 negative though, only 1 positive.
It's so easy. It's so easy to write the negative.
Absolutely, yeah.
Let's take 2 to 3 minutes.
Get the check. Those who are watching us in Facebook, you can join us in this activity. Just write down 5 keywords to describe yourself. 5 positive and 5 negative. Let's take 2 more minutes. Nice one, Lorraine. It's just shared here. Nuraini, how about negative? Okay, I see Alvin still busy writing. Naraini, impatient, stickler, responsible, jovial. Nice, Rajvin. Stickler for standards. Okay. Right. Could we get anyone wants to come in and share? Lillian, Albin?
Yes.
Come,
So
Albin.
I'll just mention my positive.
Okay, come. Let me write it down also as evidence.
Albin, that's cheating. If you're not going to share the negative, that's cheating. Cheating
No,
is not
I need
allowed.
to let I need to let someone else talk as well. I cannot take the whole session.
No, okay, in that case, then you do 1 positive, 1 negative, and we'll talk about the others as well, right?
Okay. So in my positive, I wrote that by nature, I'm a positive person. I'm optimistic. I'm a good listener, and I'm a giver. So I always like to give others.
Okay.
And listen, and that's why I'm a coach, actually.
Beautiful.
My negative, which in my opinion, in my perspective of negative, is the guilt I always have, I always feel, because it's always about others and never about myself. So I need to make people happy all the time, or listen to them, or everything. But when it comes to me, I never give myself any time or listen to myself. It's always about others. So that's the big, in my opinion, that's the big issue that I have now, because sometimes I cannot, like, you know, you have this inner voice in you, like you don't need to, you can't think about yourself, you know, it's always, you have to think about others. Everyone comes first, children, family, friends, of course, work is number one. And then you tend to forget that you exist. So that's my input.
Nice sharing there. And certain things I've also taken note here. You mentioned, in my opinion. Before I started sharing a negative characteristics, you said, in my opinion, which is quite a powerful statement. Because guys, if you look at those keywords that you have in the paper now, if you look again, how many of those were told to you by the society that this is what you are? Have a look at that document. Because earlier Raza mentioned the community has defined us. This is self-awareness. This is self-awareness. Do you really know who you are? Or have you become what society has told you to be? Which are the words that you will strike off today? Strike it off. That you think that, nope, this is not me. This is what people have told me that I am. Evaluate all these keywords again. It's a very simple activity. So the takeaway from this is, thanks, Alvin, for sharing when you said, in my opinion, good, because this is, you're not writing down what people have told you that what you are. This brings me, I just want to share a quick story, because even though I'm the age of 47, I'm still finding myself. I'm still in the journey. But a quick sharing about my education system in Singapore and how badly I did in school. I was surrounded by intellectuals, my cousins, my sisters. They're all educated, high, very good in academics. I was totally opposite. I was a failure in my school education system. Simple reason, I'm not good in memorizing. History, numbers, dates, forget it. Give me a break, will you? Whereas my sisters all did well because they were good in memory. Just that I was a very kinesthetic kind of student, involvement, projects. So when I had a different surrounding in Australia, I flourished there. I knew that I was not stupid when I was labeled lousy and stupid and a failure. I could have lived with these words hovering my head forever and dampen my esteem. So again, like what Raza said, the community, the society, the education system, the people that we mix with kind of molded and conditioned us. So it's about time, guys, you ask yourself, who are you and what are you? Strike off words that you think that doesn't belong to you. Any sharing from this, please? Arwan, Elben, Lillian, Rajwin, Francisco, Aini, to add on, or to anyone who bounce off any ideas or sharing here?
Venkat.
Yes.
Venkat, what Raza Khan said about the community and everything, it's so right. We've become robots. just like the video, you know.
Certainly.
We don't have time to take a step back and see ourselves. It's like you miss you, like I miss myself sometimes, you know, because everything is becoming so automatic that yes, we're not in control of our life anymore. We even forget that we have to think of ourselves and understand who we are. It's not other people who decide who I am. And it's my own decision, you know, like, as you said, if I am aware of who I am, then I can take the lead of my life. Just wanted to say that.
Beautiful. Thanks for that sharing. And this brings me to the next segment where I want to open up the questions to y'all. Sandeepa, maybe you can come in also. Why is it so important to differentiate, have a distinctive between who I am and what I am? The roles and responsibilities that we play in a day.
Thank you, Venkat. I think like I would like to categorize who am I into 4 different sectors.
Lovely.
So I'm a physical person, I'm an emotional person, I am an intellectual person, and I'm a social person. So wherever I carry myself, I take those 4 personalities along with me. Because many of us, I think, you told your age, I'm also in similar age. So we have like a lot of issues going on with our health, you know, and that like either I'm meeting you or somebody, that plays a big role, whether I want to smile, either I want to bounce with energy or not. The physical is always playing. Then we have social surroundings. Then I have my intellectual self, which I do, and then I have my emotional self. So those 4 things really define who am I. So I have to segregate and play roles between them in different surroundings and the different roles I play. So I think the self-awareness is the most important thing that defines who am I in every role I play. And I think it comes not with anything but practice. And like the exercise which we did now, and every day, like do practice of self-awareness, just sit and do various exercises. Just think of like, what if did 5 things, you're just like, I do this, like somebody taught me this years back, 5 fingers. I just look at it and I said like, what are the 5 things that made me happy? Or what are the 5 things that ticked me off today? And then if you continue doing that, you know, the self-awareness comes. And this is the simple exercise somebody taught me 10 years back. Just look at your hand every day. We don't have to write, we don't have to think. And I think that's the thing, like distinguishing myself, who am I? Thank you. And I do that. And then it comes, you know, who am I? And because earlier writing, like, who am I? Like I could never write like 5 things about myself, because I never thought about it. I was always running like that person running morning. Now, like once you practice, it comes very easy. I can write it in 2 minutes. I can write the list 100 things about myself. As I said, so many negative things because you're so aware of it. Thank you.
Some beautiful sharing there, Sandeepa. Thank you, guys. One great takeaway from here is look at your 5 fingers, and then, you know, that can make it into a daily activity. And today, Sandeepa is totally aware of herself. That is self-awareness. Thank you so much.
Working on it, not so aware.
We all are.
We all are
work in
working.
progress. Thanks a lot, Sandeepa. How about you, Arun?
Yeah, thank you for that question, Venkat, because I was also thinking that sometimes we can't escape from who we are because it's the role that we get prescribed to. We take on that role and it's who we are to the world. But what we are is actually a choice that we make. And we can make that conscious choice to show up like that in that situation, whether it is externally or internally, right? And I really like what Sandeepa shared. Thank you so much for sharing that. I really love what you said about, you know, the physical, the emotional, the intellectual, and the social self. To me, that's a very beautiful way of looking at yourself as a whole as well. And then with those grid, how and what I want to embody when I show up to others. That's the second step. So I feel like self-awareness it's like home. You know, we talked about things starting from home. So you start from home with that, what I am. And then obviously you can't escape the who, because you still have to do what you have to do, right? You still have to show up as 𝑟𝑒ℏ 𝐼 every morning. And then really how much love I give to 𝑟𝑒ℏ 𝐼 to be able to sit down and go through those grids. So I think
does it also mean, because 2 weeks ago we discussed that we need to constantly and consciously check in with our emotions. Remember, we were discussing about that. So for now, are you saying that we need to check in to see what role we're going to be playing now? The
it
what
almost
and the who?
seems, yeah, I think it goes that way, right? Like I can give a quick example, if I may. Like just now when I was spending time with my kids, I chose to show up as mother. And then my son did something and I looked back and I thought like, okay, as a mother, how would I react? Or I took a step back, if 𝑟𝑒ℏ was looking at this, how would she react differently? That kind of gave me an opportunity to look at it from you know what, it's okay. He's just a kid. I am an adult. I can feel this. He's a child. He can still feel this. So I felt like I was able to differentiate between being a mom in that particular situation and being who I am. And that, in a way, helped role modeling EI, I think. I could have chosen to react in a specific way, but I think just having the combination of role and what you choose to do in that particular situation can really help you make a conscious decision to act in a certain way. Because we know that emotions is all about, you know, it's a thinking, it's a feeling, and it's a behavior that we emit at the end. So the thinking and the feeling can go on all inside us. How we choose to act is that part that we need to really work towards, because that's how it is perceived eventually.
Thank you, 𝑟𝑒ℏ. Beautifully summarized and sharing with the people that self-awareness, managing the emotions, and knowing the roles that you play is the first domain, which is self-awareness of and how important it is in our aspects of our daily life, how we manage ourselves and manage others. Thanks, 𝑟𝑒ℏ. But one question to all of you. You're talking about who we are and what we are. When did this start, actually? The who we are.
Shall I jump in?
Please come in, Raza.
Yeah, I think this has started. I can give you my example. Before I was born, my father was already decided that I'll be a doctor. Right? Luck has it, I was not, but you know, and he was very upset about it. So is the parents, because they based their decision on the money we will make in the future and have a great life. But what we don't do is that we don't allow children to make their own decisions, especially I'm talking about the Asian families and Asian culture especially, right? Because what happens is that, you know, now I'm at that stage is that I don't like technology anymore. And I've talked to the doctors, we talked about it last week. I've talked to the doctors after 10 years, they don't want to be doctors anymore. I've talked to the lawyers, they don't want to be lawyers anymore. Because it's just give them a monetized value, but it doesn't give them a life.
Oh yeah. Problem
is that we all have that innate talent, which we love. And we get, you know, we almost, it's like, we have got the OCD about it. I know it's not the right word for it, but OCD means that we're so excited about it that our hairs on the neck, on the back of the neck grows, and we get the teary eyes. We all have that sort of thing. But we are so busy in day-to-day mundane stuff which we don't like anymore. And that's why we end up, you know, losing our soul. And you know, it's like, who am I is no longer a question anymore, because we are in the rat race. We are constantly running in that rat race, right? Yeah. Because now, oh, this guy has got a bigger car than me, so I need to go out and buy a bigger car. Oh, this guy has got a bigger house than me, I need to go out and buy a bigger house. even within the families, even with the brothers and sisters, this competition is going on. And then you continue with that label. When you continue with that label, what happens? You're not enjoying the life anymore. You become what you become.
Very good sharing there, Raza. Thank you. And this brings me to the next question, right? Because earlier on I asked you, when did this start? The who am I, right? So Raza kind of say this about the parents who have put in certain words, instilled certain words into our mind. Then that brings me to the next question about the mind. You know, we have the inner voice. Earlier on, Arwan and Alvin were mentioning about the inner voice. We are our own worst critic. What have you got to share to the viewers about the devil that we have in our head, the inner voice that we have in our head? Why are we always condemning our own self? Why don't we even have built strength? What is this fear and flight that we always have in our mind, that we can't do it? Why is it that we give up easily on any task? Because self-awareness is about knowing your strength, your potential, and your weakness. And the second domain, how you manage yourself. So what have you got to say to this inner voice, or about this inner voice? Alvin, Arwan, Sandeepa?
Okay, I can share if you want. So I believe our inner voice tends to control us when we really listen to it, because this inner voice sometimes it destroys us in every way. Like if I listen to my inner voice saying, you know, you're not confident, you're not good enough, you're not what you have to be, you don't have a self-esteem, all of this. So I tend to believe that if I'm not aware of who I am, I tend to believe that and act as such. So it's me being dictated by my inner voice, who I should be and what I should be.
Wow.
And that's a huge, I think it's a huge issue for some people. And that's how I learned by becoming a coach, because I was coached by someone, and how I was limited, yes, because I was only listening to my inner voice, that I was not good enough. So yes, that's.
Sandeepa?
Yeah, I want to add what Alvin said beautifully. I think whatever you tell yourself, you become that.
Wow. Whatever you tell yourself, you become that.
Yes. And this, I have lived to it. The more negative talk you do with yourself, you become very negative. And the things like you tell yourself, I can't, and normally you can. But the positive affirmation really works. And if you tell yourself in the morning, like today, like in spite of all the physical self you carry, you said, I will make it to the gym. I will at least walk 30 minutes. I will do this. I'll get out of the bed. I will be there. Then I think you're telling yourself you can do it, and you will do it. And with all the other works also, like the projects you get, there are different kinds of work. So the positive affirmation really helps. So I think you have the inner talk, you have to be kind. Like last week we talked about it. And I think it's emotional talk. How many of us, like as Raza said, look at ourselves in the mirror and say, I love you.
Beautiful.
So once we start doing that, as Raza said, once we start saying, I love you, I think we shift our dynamics from negative to positive. And I think we start becoming positive. And I think let's have our inner talk and let's start loving ourselves. And I think you will see the difference within 6 months, how things are changing so much in your life.
Sandeepa, this brings me to a question. It came to my mind because you said within 6 months, you can see so much of changes. So I should remove this statement. This is who I am. This is what I will be.
Because all along, this is who Venkat has been. So are we here concluding that we can change? We can change our mindset. We can change our behavior. We can change the who I am and what I am?
Yes, of course, we can. We are work in progress. So it's whichever way you want to take it. It is never too late. It's like we were handed, I think, the iPhone when we were in our 20s or late 30s, and we managed. I saw my father, I still see my father using different apps in his 80s. He's going to be 80. So we can. I think it's like that. Using iPhone, we can know how to maneuver, and why can't we maneuver ourselves?
Thank you, Sandeep. Nice examples there. Arwan, can I bring you in? Because you have read and researched a lot of how the brain works, the thinking brain, the neocortex and all that. So what have you got to share with us when I asked the question to Sandeep? Is it easy for us to change our behaviors, our thoughts, put aside or put behind because I'm known to be a grumpy Smurf. My friends call me grumpy Smurf. My students call me grumpy. So are you trying to tell me that, I can change that attitude? Because for the past 7 years, people call me grumpy.
Yeah, well, I have two things to add to that. If someone sees you as grumpy, it is the judgment they are making towards you. Are you feeling grumpy is the question I would ask. So what are you really feeling when someone is saying that you are a grumpy Smurf? That is the first point. The second thing to your question, I actually feel that vocabulary is a very powerful thing. And even just now when Albin was sharing and Sandeepa was sharing, right? It was like the word have to and the word should, they become a very strong predicament in determining how we should be living our life, or what do we have to do, what we should do. And like Albin very beautifully said, that it becomes a way we dictate our minds into telling ourselves that
Sandeep also mentioned, yes,
you are not living up to what you have set for yourself. That's where the inner voice comes in. Now, I have gone through a very similar, journey as Sandeepa. I think probably around 5-10 years ago, I just decided to put 10 positive words on as my screensaver. So I started using words like brilliant, amazing, fantastic, fantabulous. I came up with some 10 different words that was constantly staring on my face. And I would wake up every morning to those words and saying that today is going to be a fantastic day. No matter how bad things are going to get, it's going to be an amazing day. So I felt like vocabulary became a very important thing. Now, when we're talking about being able to change the way, we want to show up, and we are work in progress, like everyone has shared here. So why can't we enhance our vocabulary to include more positive terms, more positive things, and then start looking at a situation from that perspective? And by default, people will not call you grumpy Smurf anymore. I would say you are probably looking like a snowman who has a carrot on your face. I don't know, just something that would make someone laugh, right? So that's the point I wanted to kind of raise.
Thank you, Arwan.
Let me come in quickly. Arvind was talking about the should, and the question is that whose should is it? Is it your should or somebody else's should?
Society's should. Yeah.
Is somebody else's should, that you should. The question is that as a human, when it's been forced upon, do you really want to do it? Because your heart says you don't want to do it. It's not your should. So why should you follow somebody else should? Think about that. The word should, you should. Why? That's where it. And there was a book I want to recommend, and that is by Shed Hamster. I read it a number of years ago. It's called What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know. I'll put that in and it's a great book. Right. And lately I'm reading a book called Think and Grow Rich by, Napoleon Hill, right? And in there, he talks about that. He gives example of, when we talk about changing the mindset, he talks about this gambling habit. He said the first 10 days you will resist. Next 10 days you start embedding. Last 10 days you start following it.
Sorry, last 10 days you start following
you
it.
start playing, you doing the gambling side of it. Yeah, it's the same thing. So if you're standing in front of a mirror, first 10 days you feel phony because you said, I love you, you feel phony. But the next 10 days that start embedding in you. The next 10 days start embedding in you. Last 10 days you start feeling great and your mindset starts shifting because everything is a 30-day process. Yeah, as a Muslim, there is a great example which we talked about, is that if you pray 7 times, 5 days, 7 days and 5 times a day, if you multiply those numbers, what is it? 35. It becomes a habit. So, if somebody is not praying 5 times a day, in the Islamic world, we recommend that do 7 days, 5 times a day. 5 times 7 is 35. So if you're practicing something 35 times, it becomes a habit.
Absolutely. And it becomes subconsciously you start acting and doing on it. You don't need conscious effort after that.
Correct.
Yeah, nice one. Thank you. Earlier on I was talking about the grumpy word, and Orowan, when your first answer was judgment, right? That brings me to the end of the topic now. As much as someone is telling me that I'm a grumpy person, it may be true, or I may be in denial, right? So when it comes to self-awareness, how do I know whether what the society is telling me, is it real? Is it true? How do I assess when it comes to self-denial or self-acceptance? Anybody?
Hi.
Aini, come in, Aini.
I grew up always at the crossroads now. And I always tell people I'm a Malay only in name because I went to a convent school. Okay, I'm a Malay, I'm a Muslim, but I went to a convent school and I took Mandarin as a second language. So I don't know my mother tongue. All right. So, and I end up, as I grow up and I mixed around and I meet more Malays because in the convent school, I will be the only Malay in the whole class. And because I take Mandarin, so I don't even meet the other Malay girls that are in the convent school. So I grew up with a very different mindset. And what used to irritate me was when people or my relatives or even my parents would come to me and say, what would people say? What would people think? I say, who are these people that I have to conform to? I don't know them. They're not important to me. What would society say? Who is this society? Why are we living our lives according to this so-called people who are not important in my life? And like what you said, that people, think of you as grumpy. I find that even in the social media, I am known, I'm known to be very strict, although I don't know these people. Okay, for example, I have a friend who does online baking classes, and she was having a lot of problems. And then when she wrote me in, and the minute my name appears as one of the chefs, as one of the admin of the group, a lot of the problems disappear. And then when she uses my name and say, let me check with Chef Aini. And the answer will be, no, it's okay then, it'll be fine. And I don't know these people. I said, why do they think that I'm strict or I'm fierce? I've never met them and I don't know them. So I've actually given up on trying to be whoever or be who society wants me to be, because I have no idea what they want me to be. So I just be who I am. And I learned not to apologize for thinking the way I do, or as long as I'm not rude to you, as long as I don't backstab people, I just learned to be me. So I don't know if I'm answering any of the questions, but yeah.
Aini, it was a very nice sharing about yourself there. Thank you. It's also a good takeaway for all of us. Even Albin is saying so true. Orwan, Raja, and Sandeepa, it's been good 1 hour now, and I would like to continue this session. But being an auspicious day for the Hindus who are celebrating Diwali, so I would like to wish Orwan, Sandeepa, and all the Hindus celebrating Diwali a happy Diwali.
Thank you. Due to that, Diwali.
Sandeepa has got some guests over also, so she needs to leave soon. Sandeepa, any nice message or a step towards self-awareness before you leave?
Happy Diwali, everybody. It's a celebration of those of you who also don't celebrate. It's a celebration of lights. So burn the lights within. That's what, like, fight with the evil and bring the lights of awareness. So I love this festival. So be kind to yourself and love yourself, and then rest will follow. I think who am I and what am I will come. So be kind to yourself and be kind to others, and it will come. So that is my thing. And keep self-awareness is the cycle and the wheel. Keep it going, every day. Keep that wheel going. Beautiful. Keep asking and keep things. So thank you, everybody. Sorry, I have to rush. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Thanks for joining. We'll catch up soon, Sandeepa, and happy Diwali to you and your family.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. At this juncture, guys, I just would like to introduce one participant who's here, Rajwin. She conducts laughter therapy on a regular basis. Let me share her Facebook. Yep. So I'm going to send the link to you all in the chat box. She conducts, let me see, she conducts laughter therapy on weekly sessions. Her talks on, for example, how to overcome adversity, the fear of freedom. On a weekly basis, she has all these motivational videos. So Rajwin is here with us. Thank you so much, Rajwin, from joining all the way from Malaysia. Let me put her Facebook link in the chat box. Rajwin, I hope you're enjoying the session. Do you wish to say anything? Please come in.
Yes. So, I was first introduced to Venkat from my very own angelic partner, Mr. Warren Shanmugam.
Warren Shanmugam.
He came on the Warren Shanmugam show, and we were discussing on how Venkat came up, and it was a very inspiring session.
Thank you.
I also run a show called An Evening with Rajun and Warren. First time we were together, and then now I'm running. He lets me run my show on my own. So I'm so happy and thankful for kind souls like Venkat and everyone who I conduct laughter yoga sessions on a daily basis. I'm a trainer.
Daily basis, okay.
Yeah, I'm a trainer. I first graduated from Health University since 2014, and I have been a motivational speaker since then. And I'm born with cerebral palsy, but cerebral palsy doesn't have me.
Wow.
So now I'm a finalist for Miss Amazing Malaysia Season 2, which is grand finals is coming up soon. And then hopefully I chasing for the title. I believe in myself. My mission is the same as Venkat and Warren, is to make a difference for typical or differently able people who think that, you know what, they cannot do it, but instead, you know what, you have to have a paradigm shift.
Paradigm shift.
Paradigm shift and adjust to what you call it as KPI, Key Performance Index, where you have friends, family, finances, and friends, family, finances, and fitness. And what's the other F? I forgot. But
Family, fitness.
Finances and
Finance, yeah.
Fun. I really learned this from Jay Cannon, who's our colleague, and so inspiring. So before I end, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to talk to you about laughter therapy. Laughter therapy is science of breathing and art of laughing. It has 5 steps: clapping, breathing, childlike play, laughter exercise, and also silence. It was developed by Dr. Madan Kataria. To find out more, please join my sessions from Tuesday onwards. Thank you and good night.
Thank you so much for those inspiring words. In these few minutes, the way you motivated us, Rajvin, that's how powerful we are. Guys, we're talking about self-awareness. We're talking about self-management. And we just heard certain words from Rajvin. If this is not going to inspire you, I don't know what will. You see, Darren mentions your vibe is amazing. Thanks, Darren, for the sharing. I have posted her Facebook link in the chat box and also on the Facebook page. Please like and follow her sessions. We need such inspiring and motivational people in our life, because all we see in social media is bad news. All we see in social media is negative news. So what are we consuming? We are consuming bad information, negative information.
Yeah.
You know, so let's feed our brain, feed our soul with positivity. Rajwan, once again, thank you so much. Yes, Rajvin, sorry.
And one more thing, if I may add,
please.
You know, the law of attraction, whatever goodness, you do good and goodness will come to you. You do bad, bad energy will come to you.
Beautiful.
You are. I don't know where I learned this from, but probably Warren taught me quite well.
Rajvin, thanks for that, because I gather all these people from all over the globe, all over the world. It's because, I learned so much from Orawan, from Raza, from Elvin, from Lillian, Aini. It's because I want to learn and I want to be in the positive environment.
Yeah,
the beginning of the session.
We are always teachers.
Exactly.
We are our greatest teacher,
And I'm glad you joined us, Rajvin, because earlier on the beginning of the session, Raza or all mentioned that society defines us. The people define us. So who we mix around, guys, is very important.
Company,
who we
right?
Mix our society, yeah. Excuse me. That was a very nice quote from Denzel Washington. Let me quickly share this with you. I've not downloaded it, but if you hang around with 5 confident people, you'll be the 6th. If you hang around with the 5 intelligent people, you'll be the 6th. If you hang around with 5 millionaires, you'll be the 6th. If you hang around with 5 idiots, you'll be the 6th. So take relate to what we learned in the beginning of the session and these messages that we're giving you. Who you mix around with matters. It's self-awareness, self-management. Thanks again, Rajvin. Thanks so much for joining this session. Let's continue. I still got a few more interesting topics to share and discuss before we call it a day. We spoke about self-denial and the inner critic with the voice that we have. So what's your take? What's your giveaway for our viewers? How do you manage the inner voice, the critic in us? Raza? You're muted.
Okay. I may have to disappear soon because I need to disappear. But yeah.
Sure.
I think the first thing first, when Denzel Washington said that surround us with the 5 intelligent people who will pull you up. Because our problem is that we are so self-critic because of our upbringing, which causes the problem. So we are always blame. We play blame game all the time. When we play in a blame game all the time, what happens to our mind? We're living in a self-denial. Yeah. And then the self-denial comes is, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not great enough. I'm not fantastic enough. That this is, there is a saying is like our mind, there's two things, isn't it? Conscious mind and subconscious mind. Right. With the conscious mind, we're living in the denial side. But the subconscious mind, which is like, I don't know if you remember that elephant and the ant, little ant, there's a difference. So our conscious mind is an ant who's got a lot of old data. Yeah. Now you need to tame that elephant. How would you do that? Little ant cannot do that. But little by little. Yeah. Problem is that we, on a daily, there was somewhere I read that on a daily basis, over 200 no's we get. No. Only one yes. What happens to our mind? Right. When child is asking for something, what is the very first response we, as a parent, we give? No, you can't have it.
No, you can't.
Yeah, that's what we do. But what do we ever give an explanation as to why they don't get it, why they don't have it? We don't, because I'm a father, I'm a mother, is my saying. Now the child is already started living in a denial. A lot of people I've come across when I coach, the first thing is that their self-confidence has been sabotaged since the childhood because they're living in the self-denial. And that's what we need to cater for. Yeah. Why are you living in self-denial that I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not intelligent enough? These are self, and then, think of the way when you're talking to yourself as well. Because there is a reason the God or Allah is given 2 ears, 1 mouth for a reason. Whatever we say, we hear twice. That means our brain is absorbing a lot more. So it's better not to say if you don't have good things to say about yourself or about somebody else.
Powerful things of that. Yeah.
Think of it this way. But we say it anyway, just to make up anything.
And that
and then what happens?
Our self-esteem and confidence.
Exactly.
Big time.
At times I say to the people, it's like, oh, I'm feeling really ill. Don't say it. Because now your ears is hearing it and then body is reacting it.
You see? That was brilliant, Radhika. Thank you so
say, much. I was ill, but I'm getting better now. Then when you change the conversation, your ear will hear it and your body is reacting accordingly. And that's the issue. When we keep saying the negativity or negative words, we're constantly living in a self-denial. And we fail to understand that what is the innate talent which we can utilize to grow and go to the next level, personally, professionally, family-wise, money-wise, all those things.
There's a nice takeaway there, Mr. Razak, for all the viewers. So please be positive, use positive words towards yourself.
Yeah.
Stop saying negative words because your body listens to you and acts accordingly.
Yeah.
Fantastic, Mr. Razak. Rowan, anything on this? Or if not, shall we go to the last question on the segment? What are the steps towards self-awareness?
Sorry, can we go to the last question? Can I quickly chime on to what Raza said?
By all means, come.
I think what is extremely important here for us is to be able to recognize the voice. I think that's like, to me, the first step is recognizing that this is coming from where. And it goes back to self-awareness. So it kind of ties in very nicely to the question that you are asking, that what are the steps that we need. To me, the first thing is be able to recognize that, okay, this is something else, which is not me. Or where is this should or have coming from? You know, having that curiosity and really, like, not to an extent of over analyzing and, you know, paralyzing yourself in that situation, but really just being mindful about, like, you know, our mind is acting in the moment, recognize it, and then react accordingly. So to me, that would be the first place to start.
Recognizing the voice, which also continues with the thoughts that comes into your mind, and be mindful about it. Beautiful. Thank you. Albin?
Yes. Sorry. Can you repeat the question? I got taken by Orawan's response.
Yeah, I know, it's processing, right? So I'm writing all this down for myself. As a trainer, as a coach, you know, even I'm taking down notes from what I'm learning from you guys. That's a beauty about these workshops and why we conduct these workshops and why we bring in subject matter experts in. So what will be the first step towards self-awareness? Orawan mentioned of being mindful of your voice and also the thoughts. Raza mentioned of having positive words being spoken to yourself, right? What will be your message to the world?
I would say, first of all, acceptance.
Woo-hoo.
Know yourself, accept yourself,
nice.
and then you do what you have to do. Don't forget, I always say that you are amazing. No one can define who you are. It's you who does it.
Yeah. You are amazing. Love that. Nice, Albin.
Thank you.
I know we're all coaches here. Okay, I'm not promoting coaches here, but
No.
I just want to ask you guys this. Okay, self-profiling, self-assessment. You know, the profiling test that we have, Enneagram and all that. How do you think? How useful are these to learn about yourself? Is it one other step? Because I know as we coaches, we will show you who you are. We show you your blind spots. We show you your strengths. We show you your weakness. That's what we can do as coaches. But as an individual, do you think this self-profiling test will help you realize who you are?
Yes, to a certain extent.
Beautiful. Okay. Thank you, Rajvin. And at least kind of tells you your strength and weakness, right? Instead of just letting the society come and tell you, this is who you are. You also can take the first step at finding out who you are. Thanks, Rajvin. Thank you. So with this, I've got no more questions. I've got more notes taken down. Beautiful session we had here. Good discussion. I would like to open up to the floor to Aini, Zina, Darren, Lillian, Raza, Rajvin. Anyone come in? Any sharing, any discussions, any Q&As? Please do not be shy. Please come in.
Venkat, at this point, can I just quickly pause and ask a quick question to you, which I have been having on my mind? I was needing to ask. Yes. Can I ask you a question?
Okay. Unexpected.
Let's put you on a hot seat, right? So, you know, this is an Emotional Intelligence Awareness Month, right? And Blue Ink Project has brought in these beautiful episodes or, you know, segments on how we can use EI to enhance our lives. So my question is, you know, how is this going to help the participants or Blue Ink Project? How is emotional intelligence going to, you know, add this value, especially if they are, because the goal of Blue Ink Project is to promote wellness, your mental wellness, right? Overall. So how do you see, as a creator of Blue Ink Project, how do you see EI fitting into helping those who are struggling with mental wellness.
Okay, it's more like an interview now. Thanks, everyone.
No, I had that at the back of my mind. Thank you.
Yeah, you're right. Why I brought in all these EI workshops, because many people, they don't have right sound mind. They get influenced by society, influenced by their own thoughts. The same topic that we spoke, the voice and the thoughts. What causes depression? Many reasons. And one of the main causes of depression is the self-critic in the voice that you have in your head. So coming back, why EI and Blue Ink projects? Because about self-awareness. If you know who you are, if you know your strengths, if you know your confidence, you will be able to tame that devil's voice in your head. You know, some people get so affected by society, by their loved ones. For example, Orawan, if I tell you you're doing a lousy job, and if I mean a lot to you, you get badly affected. So where is your self-awareness? Nope. Let people say what they want to say. I know I'm good. Where is that strength of you telling yourself that positive words or the confident words? So Blue Ink Project may not be able to take you out from whatever you're going through. But at least we can, the Inkspire, the blue ink, we just add a drop of ink into your mind to influence your thoughts. That is what we can do, the first step. So that's how the blue ink word came upon. That's why I'm inviting you guys to come and share your thoughts, your expertise in these subjects, because it's all about mental wellness. And it starts from emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and how you manage yourself.
Yeah, so beautifully said. Thank you for sharing that. So am I right in saying that this is just the first of many EI conversations we are going to have in the coming months?
I think, looking at the response, even from the speakers yourself and the participants like Lillian, without Phil, Aini, it's a success if you ask me. You guys are enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. People are enjoying it. Very good response. Last weekend's session, more than 300 views already. Even though it's not live, but people are watching it in the free time. So that's what we are here to give, to change, make a difference to the people, be different and make a difference. So yes, we will be a lot. Even before the session started, Raza asked, can we continue for his EI sessions? I said, I would love to join his EI sessions. So yes, everyone, thank you. So there will be more coming up.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think what I was going to say is that our job is not finished until we go 6 feet under, right?
Ah, beautiful.
Sound extreme, but that's the reality, right? Because it's a gift which has been given to us to share with the rest of the world. And I think we are the few chosen one, I guess, that share that gift with everybody.
Thank you. You're a gift. Lillian has got a nice message there. Believe that you're a masterpiece. No one is exactly like you. No one is exactly like you. So 100%. Love yourself first and give love as you can make a difference. Beautifully said, Lillian.
Nice one.
Yes. There's a question talking about self-awareness. This question is from another coach from Switzerland, Yvonne. Talking about self-awareness. What are your recommendations to discover or unpack blind spots? Like the self-assessment approach, what else can we do to unpack?
Accountability.
Accountability.
Yeah, because there is two types of things which we have. The blind spots which we know, and then the blind spots somebody else know about you, you don't. And for that, if you're married, get your wife to be identify your blind spot, because she's very close to you. She can tell you that better than anybody else. But if you're not married, find an accountability partner to help you to identify those blind spots and work on that.
Okay.
I also want to add to that. I think we must not forget authenticity as well. We must not forget who we are and what we stand for. So there is a book that I've read about authentic. It's called Authentic. And there is a very nice formula about how we can have a happy, flourishing life. One thing is to know yourself, to own yourself, and be yourself. So these three things put together can really help us being the most authentic person we are. And the question I often ask, and when I meet people or when I coach people, I find it really, really useful to get everyone to think about how well do we really know ourselves? How well can we really own ourselves? And then how well can we be ourselves? So when we have these three scales looked into, we can dive down further in terms of what gap we are trying to bridge here. Where is the gap? So the self-awareness aspect of EI kind of falls into the know yourself and own yourself part. And then the other domains will kind of fall into the be yourself. So it creates a very beautiful conjunction when you know who you are and you can start being who you are, then it doesn't matter who says what. Judgment from external people will not matter. The inner voices will by default go into the backseat. And I love, Albin, she put the cherry on top of it. She said, accept it. Accept it. This is who you are. Own it.
Own it, yeah.
This is your DNA.
I want to share one incident that recently happened at one of the training centers. When I was walking in at 8:30, the admin staff was telling me that Venkat, they have hired 3 more new trainers. Okay, by right, it's supposed to be a bad news for me because there's going to be lesser classes for me, right? But you know what was my reply, Orwan? So the admin said, oh, you're not afraid I won't get classes. Like what Lilian said, I'm 1 in a million. I know my job, I'm good at it. Let's see whether they're as good as me. Now, it might have sounded as cocky, but too bad. It's confidence that I had in my job, the passion and the love, and I know I'm good. Right. So just one, thanks, Lillian and Orwan. So Yvonne, I hope you got the answer. I just quickly want to share about the Johari window, which is quite a useful activity. This is, the known to self, not known to self, the blind spot. And also it'll be good to know, to get some feedback from the people that you trust. You can get, we also learn about 360 degrees feedback. So if you want to learn about yourself, unfold, unpack, it's not only the self-talk that you have, but also seek feedback about yourself from your people around you. Okay, so am I done over here? Yes, so more or less we are done with today's topic. I would like to open the floor to anyone. Aini, Lillian, any questions for Raza, for Orwan, for Albin? Any sharing? Please come forward. Don't be shy. Darren? Okay, if there aren't, I really, really would like to thank Raza, Albin, Orwan, Rajvin, Aini, Zina, Darren O, all my Blue Ink committees, my previous speakers, Fran, Yvonne, Adelina, Adri, all those who contributed towards this Emotional Intelligence Awareness Month. As promised, we will continue doing this, but not on a weekly sessions, but maybe on a monthly session. So we seek your support, dear participants. And if you wish us to deliver a particular topic, please message me away. Raza, Aaron would love to come in. Albin will to come in and give us and have a nice open dialogue sessions. Rajvin, you are welcome too. Happy Diwali to all of you. Everyone, thanks for this initiation. Any last words, gentlemen, ladies, for the viewers?
It's been great. I think we should continue and let's have a discussion that either a weekly or a monthly session on that side of it. So,
okay,
cool. All right.
So keep
nice
the promise.
meeting you all. Have a great day.
Thank you, Raza. Thank you so much. Thank you, Darren.
Cheers.
Beautiful
Bye.
session in Woos. Have a lovely Sunday evening. Good morning to you, everyone. Albin, thanks once again.
I just wanted to.
Thank you.
I want to say something before you go off. I just wanted to kind of bring it all back into the space that that EI starts from home. It starts within us, and once we're able to master it all, we know and we can manage ourselves. We are better equipped to understand others, and obviously manage our relationships better. That's what EI is all about, right? And because this is a special ending to EI month, and I personally had so much fun conducting the session, even with the amazing coaches, Yvonne, Adelina, Adri, and Fran, and even participating in the empathy conversation with Raza and Sandeepa last week. And today, I feel like everything just came together very nicely. Albin, thank you for being here as well. And thank you, Blue Ink Project, for actually believing in that. That was why I asked that question, because it's so important that we are able to use EI to make conscious and mindful decisions.
Absolutely.
And even when you're having the hardest time of your life, right? Having EI really kind of helps you jump in quickly from one role into another. So, you stop questioning. The who will never go away. You'll always have to play the who. It's just what you do with the who. So thank you, Blue Ink Project, and obviously everyone else who have been part of this journey. I look forward to more series and more conversation around this.
Thank you. Lovely words, lovely takeaway, lovely discussions we had, everyone. I can see all smiles with Albin and Raza also. We'll definitely, the world is smaller now. So I'll definitely invite you all again to come in together.
Sounds good.
Albin, anything else, guys? Aini, I see you.
Thank you for this. Thank you for this session, Venkat. It was really amazing. And it's so important for us to know ourselves, because we tend to know other people, like we understand other people and everything. But when it comes to ourselves, we don't really know how to focus on who we are and what we are. So I hope we'll have more topics. I'm looking forward for more sessions like this. So
Beautiful.
Please don't be late.
Okay. That's good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. With this, let's end the session, and wishing all Hindus celebrating Diwali happy Diwali and happy Deepavali. I will see you soon. Communications are open. Please message us. I have also tagged Albin, Raza, or Rowan and Sandeepa in my Facebook post. So if you want to reach out to them directly, please go ahead. Okay. So with this, thank you so much. Signing off.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
See you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
See you.